I'll get some strength if you keep your cameras on, that you're listening. So, okay, yesterday we did spoke about earthbound souls, right? Which are the spirits. When a person dies, when he does not have an idea that he has to go back within certain time, generally masters do come and explain them, that they teach everything and explain, but still, they don't listen. They think if they leave their kids and their parents, old parents, or their kids, or whoever it is, that they cannot survive without them. That is what they think. And there was actually a movie in Tamil, I think, and also they dubbed in Telugu too. That movie, they clearly show that when the father there is an accident happens and then he dies. So then the master comes to take him. Then that person says, "Oh, if you take me, then my daughter wedding will not continue, and also I have to do this. So I need to be alive." Then the master says, "No, no, no. Without you, also all those things will naturally happen, because those are supposed to happen. They will happen. So for you, if you stay alive, that might disturb, but now, instead of going in a softer way, it might go in a rough way." This is what the master says. Then he says, "No, how can you say that? I want to prove to you that that I will do all those stuff, right? So without me, the company will not survive," also says. He's a manager in the company. So that master will show him that because he survived, the daughter loves someone else, but he forcibly fixes with someone else the marriage. Then later, the girl says very clearly and leaves the house and marries the person whom she loved. So see, because he survived, so everything went a little bit harder, but she married whom she wanted to marry, right? And then in the company also, someone else becomes president. In his place, someone else takes it, because, according to the universe, he's supposed to die. Someone else is supposed to take, right? So even though he's alive, someone else takes the position. And then the third thing, and the son and the daughter-in-law, son also comes and says, I like this person, I'm marrying. So everything goes not according to him, opposite to what he wanted. Then the master says, "You saw everything happened. Even though you are interfering everything, so everything you made it a harder. So without you, everything would have became even better. So anything in the universe is supposed to happen, that will happen. And the more you're easy on it, the better it is. So when a person dies, that's what is supposed to happen. He has to leave the soul city. He should not be with us. When he stays with us, what happens? His energies becomes negative. And the longer he stays on this earth, the energies get worse and worse and worse. So, there is something people say this, some souls, some spirits, they drink blood, this and that, right? So in the some of the scriptures, they say that the older that, they say pretatma, the older the spirit is, the stronger negative it gets. So when it becomes stronger, I don't know what all that soul does, but that's I have no idea. But generally people say that. I'm just saying people say that, but I did not, I heard about it, but I did not read in any book, so I'm not sure about that. But when the soul does not leave, the story, that this is there in a lot of books. In some of the books, it is written very clearly how the soul struggles when they don't go, and then how they become negative, and they want to later, after 1-2 years, they realize that they would have gone. Then they start coming into the dreams, and they clarity show that I'm still here, please send me back. Some people cry, some people, they are in the darker place, some people, they are in a river, crying far, but it's in the dark somewhere. So you can tell by listening to that dream. If somebody tells you, "Oh, one of our uncle who died, he always comes into my dream, or he always comes into my meditation. Then you need to ask how he looks, how he came. So if they came from that Atma Tal, if he is already left after 12 days and he's coming into their dreams from the soul city, they can come into our dreams from the soul city. Every dream does not mean he's an earthbound soul. So they can, so how they look, how the dream would be comparatively, who is happy in the soul city, gone, higher energy soul versus lower energy soul who is here, right? So they become a negative soul. So the negative souls are always in the dark and they are upset. They are either shouting at you, but they talk about bhautika, means the general things. When you're alive, what they talk, they talk. But if they are talking to you from the soul city, their talk will be um, higher, like a atma, like how a soul, higher soul talks, how a God talks to you. That is how they talk. They give you the wisdom of higher level. But the lower soul who stayed back, they always talk about, oh, you should make more money, you should, why you're doing this, or they will be, in the beginning, if they don't know that they have to leave, they'll be constantly giving you advice. But once they know they're supposed to leave and, they can't do anything by staying here, then they start asking you in the dream, please send me back. And then they'll show you as they're upset and they are crying or they are in the dark. But when they come from these higher souls, higher soul from the soul city, they look beautiful. They look like, very like pleasant, happy, and they wear, garlands. Sometimes they're in the temple. Everything you feel and see very positive. So, friends, this is extremely, extremely important to ask them. If sometimes if the people are fighting, if the people are having um, issues in the house, the number one is you should first ask, is there anybody died recently, or even 5-10 years ago or 20 years ago, and then ask, are they coming into your dreams? Do you feel anything negativity in the house? All these you have to ask questions, then you will know that it is because of the earthbound souls, especially younger kids, even the teenage kids. The kids will fight like crazy, and the younger kids who are 1 year, 2 year old, they'll be crying like crazy. They'll be very upset, they'll be crying, they'll be irritated. So if that is the case, then definitely it's an earthbound soul, because those younger souls, the newborn kids, they can feel their energy easily, so they'll be irritated because that energy is negative, so they feel irritated. So friends, if a soul enters into our body, right, when we go into very low energies, sometimes father died, or they lost some properties, or sometimes I've seen the husband dies and then in-laws gives them hard time, gives her, or they sell the properties by themselves and then they give it to whomever they want. So all these things, what happens, already they are in a little bit down because husband died or father died, whatever it is. So these things, what happened, gets even worse. So when they become worse and worse and worse, naturally what happens? Naturally, their aura goes very low. And they are the meditators. This happens mostly to the meditators, not the normal people also happens, but I've seen a lot on the meditators. Maybe I'm more exposed with the meditators, but I'm seeing nowadays a lot of people this is happening. So when we go low, our chakras are kind of open and our energies are open because we are every day taking cosmic energy and we are doing the meditation. So when our aura goes very low and we are crying, we are upset, at that time these souls, these spirits can easily enter into our body. And there's one reason they enter, because we did, once upon a time we did one the sin, whatever, we killed a person, for example. If that person becomes an earthbound soul, that soul is waiting for the opportunity, and then they enter when that opportunity comes, because they want to take the revenge. Because what happened, those people, they are not able to, number one, they are not able to take the birth because of us, And number two, we gave, because he died, their family suffered. So all those things, he became very negative, right? So they come into our body and gives very hard time. There will be two talks. How do you recognize those people? They will talk, they'll say that, oh, I'm getting, these masters are talking to me and I'm very inclined, and I'm the Rama, or I'm the Arjuna born again, and I'm the mother to this Hanuma, or all these things. They're not the one who are talking. The earthbound soul is making them. Sometimes they say that, sometimes they make talk very negatively, see things very negatively. So there are so many aspects. The people are not themselves. You can easily tell the way they are talking. And they will have Dandvatvam, means two faces. They will talk like a before Anirudha, they will talk after entering the soul Anirudha. So there will be two talks. So behind, they'll go talk negative about you. And then in front of you, they say, oh, you're great, you're amazing. Oh, because of you, this happened to me, that happened to me. Very, very, very nice, sweet tongue, because that is the original person. But when they go back and talk negatively, that is the soul. So they'll have two faces. It's not all the time the soul talks. It is the soul is influencing them to say. There's another one is very, very, very important, is which we learned with the research. The teenagers, when they're growing, if a person died because of us and that person became an earthbound soul, that person attacks the teenagers, their own kids, our own kids, because it's an even a lot of times they say even ancestors did something, it will affect the teenagers. But those teenagers are no one but the ancestors. So our grandparents, they born again in the same family most of the time. So this person, when the soul attacks in the teenager, and soul constantly says, oh, I want to do the suicide, and then I want to take the drugs, I want to take the cigarettes, I want to drink, and I want to do the suicide. It's constantly that mind. Recently, 3 months ago, I spoke to a lady. She said that her son, he went to India to study in one of the medical NRI quota, and then he went into drugs, and also these suddenly started calling her and saying, it's like I'm constantly hearing that I have to do suicide. So I'm constantly hearing, and then some voice within me and my mind, he's thinking that's his mind. My mind is telling me to take cigarettes. My mind is telling me to take the drugs. My mind is saying me to do the suicide. Finally, that boy did the suicide because it's hearing in his mind. So they don't know, and it makes that voice depressed. So depressed, and that is what happening, right? So because of this is extremely important. If I knew before, when the boy is acting like that, then we can talk to the boy and we can talk to that soul and release it. How do we release that soul? If someone is talking to us, if the person agrees, only we can do this. If the person says, oh, nothing happened to me, I'm fine, I am the Shiva, I am that Parvati, if they say that, you can't do anything. You have to leave it alone, right? But if the person allows us to release, so what we do, you don't need to go and release. They can do themselves. These are the earthbound souls. It's better to do themselves, even if they feel there is a souls in the house, or if the soul entered in their body. What they have to say is, see, you are all these years. If once you start saying that, I'm sorry, I did the mistake, and apologize me, then that soul says, all these years I'm here, I suffered, you suffered, my family, what are you talking? Shut up. This is what we heard, these things. The soul saying to them, they said all bad words to them. What are it? This many years I suffered, hundreds of years I'm here as an earthbound soul, and my aura became so negative because of you, and my family suffered. Everybody, once I died, and then you killed me this way. All that they say. So instead of that, clearly say that, okay, I agree, I did a mistake. Not only just a mistake, it was a blunder. the most horrible thing I did. I agree. Then they calm down when you say that. And then you should say that, okay, I agree. Oh, if you are in my body, you are locked. You are in a kind of a jail, right? You are locked in one body. You can't do much. You're not eating, you're not sleeping. That soul can't do anything, even though it is in that body. They can't taste the food. Again, the original person is eating. So that's what you need to communicate with that soul, saying that you're not doing anything. You're like locked in this body. So if you come out, I will make you do Anapanasati for 3 days. I will release you from this earth. I'm the only person can do that now. So once the masters will come and take you so that you can take the birth. Then you do whatever you want to take the revenge on anybody. That is fine. I'm open. If you want to give me any punishment, I'm open to take the punishment. Now I'm not doing these things. Now I'm helping everyone. But I am ready to take the punishment, whatever you want to give, and give that Sharanagati, right? You surrender to that soul and say that you are stuck in this body. I want you to release you. That favor I can do now. Take that favor. And then leave this earth and take the birth again. And I will pray Mahadeva to give you a good life, beautiful life, amazing life, right? So the minute you say that, what happens? Automatically, if not today, you say that within 4 days you have to come out. Then I'll send you. You put a condition to that soul. That's what I did once when I went to these meditation place. So one lady came and told me, "Oh, I have the soul in me." Then I said, "Oh, really? You have a? How do you know?" I knew when it is entering. I was in meditation, and then that soul entered. And this lady was down for some family issues. She did told me I was very down. I was crying. I was upset. So the soul entered. I could feel that. And then the soul is within me. That soul is constantly telling me negative stuff. That to do all, so I knew. That lady was amazing. She was very young, 29 or 30-year-old girl. So I said, okay. Then I said, okay, when I touched her, I didn't feel anything. But some other master hold her hand and told me that he got the shock of that person. That person is a male. So, but as a female, I didn't feel anything. But I said, okay, sit down. And then I went to the, in front of the Mahadeva in the temple. I made her sit and I hold both the hands. And then I looked into her eyes very deeply and spoke to the soul. Said that, you know what, you need to leave within 4 days. If you do not leave, then we cannot help you. If you leave within 4 days, this body, I'll send you to your soul city so that you can happily take the birth. You are here for a long time. I know you're upset with this girl. And she's already in a kshama, right? She's already in the meditation and she's not hurting, harming anyone right now. So it is a good thing if you leave her body and leave her alone. And you're also locked in this body. Why you want to be locked? How long you want to lock? You're not eating, you're not tasting any food, you're not sleeping. So if you leave within 4 days, I'm going to make you sit Anapanasati and I'll ask the masters to take you. And sit on the Anapanasati whenever you come out of this body. And then in front of them, masters, whenever his aura increases with the Anapanasati, please take them to his soul city. I'm requesting you, masters. Then after that, on the 4th day, she called me and said, the soul left from my body. Today is the 4th day. Thank you, master. I could feel it. I feel so light, so happy. Otherwise, I was like a miserable. Even in the middle of the night, I could feel those talk and I was miserable. I couldn't sleep properly, she said. So these are the things happen, friends. And I'll tell you one more example. One of the master, she's a meditator. She was also making other people, she does the guided meditation. She was also doing other people meditation in the afternoon. She used to do the meditation with other people every day, 1 hour she does. But she was not in any group. She had a cancer. So slowly, when she was doing meditation, she felt better. She was fine. And then what happened? Suddenly her father died. Then she went into deep depression. At that time, again, her cancer became worse. And then within no time. When she was in coma in the hospital, then we got a call saying that she's in the coma. I mean, they need a little bit of financial help. Then we called her, we spoke to the husband, son, whatever needed, we were there with them. So the person died. So after she died, what happened is she became earthbound soul. This son is a teenager. He's 13, 14-year-old. So son is not sleeping, he's crying whole night. Father thought he is, because mom passed away. So that's why he's, feeling low. And then father also suddenly got two dreams, saying that one dream he got as he gave all her saris except 13 saris. The saris he likes or she likes, he kept them. So one day in his dream, she came and said, "Oh, can you show me the saris you kept?" And then in the dream, she's asking him to show, and he's showing the saris in the dream, not outside. And then suddenly, one of the other meditator, who is a friend of her, suddenly she called me and said, "Can a meditator be earthbound soul?" She asked me. I said, "It is possible, highly possible, because if she does not have Gyanam, if the kids are young, so she will think, oh, without me, how can my son will survive? She will stay back. So it is possible. If the person is a meditator, that does not mean that they have all the wisdom. So if they don't have that with this particular class wisdom, they'll stay back, right? So that person stayed back. And what happened was, meaning that particular master became earthbound soul, the meditator. So when I asked the guy to ask again, he got a dream that she's an earthbound soul. She's in the dark. He could see all the symptoms of the earthbound soul. Then we said, okay, you need to practice this. So he started practicing. 3 days, 4 days he did, and asked the masters to take her away. Once she's gone, the son is from the very next day, after 3 days, from the fourth day, the son is sleeping whole night and he never cried. The boy is strong because they knew she has the cancer for a long time. They knew that. So, right. So the boy is not, it's been 3-4 months, she passed away. He's crying because of the energy, not because something else. So he was sleeping so good and he started, doing better in the class, all that stuff. Before even his grades went down, it affected him a lot. So even husband also, suddenly his job somewhere else, he has to travel, everything became negative happened in the family. So once that earthbound soul is gone, everything became to normal within like no time. So if the earthbound soul is gone, then the changes in your house becomes like that. So a lot of people say, how do I know that it is gone? You ask in the dream. They'll show you if they are in whichever Atma city, soul city, they'll show you. So you can tell the difference. If you tell me the dream or put it in the dream decoding, they'll tell you that, that soul is gone or still staying. So friends, this is how you can bring the soul out if it is. So do not think, oh, if you are feeling, if you're talking two things, don't think that, oh, soul is not in me. That's not true. They are just saying, even though I'm hearing all these words, the masters are talking. And also the person will be overconfident. They will disturb everybody because, I'm getting this talk from inside. All these nonsense they will say, and you will get so irritated and annoying with those people who have soul inside. It's not the person's fault. It is not the person talking. So have patience and talk to them and see if they would listen to you. Then tell her nothing will happen. Even if she does not have a soul in her body, she can always practice that. Nothing wrong in practicing. Don't be ashamed and don't feel bad for doing that. Please do it. If you feel even 1% doubt, please do that. Release that soul from you or in the house. Sometimes when you sleep also, you will know those energies. So don't think those are masters. So there will be a difference between masters. Even the dog will bark even if it is a master or if it is an earthbound soul. You should know that whether it is a master or an earthbound soul according to your environment in the house. If you have excellent environment in the house, everyone is happy, no one is shouting at each other, no one is So they all have beautiful understanding, no gaps in between. So that means there is no earthbound soul. That's a master. Because you are so happy and such a beautiful energy in the house, masters will stay with you. They will guide you constantly. So you need to recognize between the master and the earthbound soul. That is very, very important. Sometimes they'll come because you're a meditator, you will send, you know how to send, so they'll come and stay with you, and that does become a little bit of negative in the house. But if you feel that any time going forward, be aware of it and send them back to their soul city. You'll get a lot of good karma if you do that, if you send the souls. So do that, and always catch in the dream. If you have any doubt, even if you have a question, is there a soul within me, right? You can actually use the pendulum. That pendulum will give you the answer. I should have that pendulum. So the pendulum will give you the answer of whether it is there or not. So I will show you. If anybody want to ask questions, ask me the question. Meanwhile, I'll go and get the pendulum, so that I can show you how that, if I ask that question, you can even say with that pendulum, I'll bring it down, show you that. If anybody has question, please raise your hand and you can unmute and ask the question.
Master, I'll restart the stream, Master.
Okay.